Hey, hold up, man. I got something to say, man. Wait. What y'all out here for, man? What you here for, huh? Does your life matter? Does your life matter? You ready for this? You ready to take control?
Hey, this is Brian Dare with the Colorado Home Building Academy, and you're listening to Workshop, a place to build great careers. Today you're going to be hearing from Kate. Really enjoyed my conversation with Kate. We met in a coffee house back when meeting in coffee houses was a normal thing to do, and she discussed her career shift from teaching into construction, as she's right in the middle of that shift when we talked. And so she's in that kind of both exciting and scary place of really not sure of what the future holds, but she was super passionate about what she's looking to do. She loved the idea of investing herself into building, and just really found a passion that, as she spent a lot of time and education in teaching, was making this pretty major career shift. We were in a tight quarter there, so forgive the framing. My face and head is cut off for most of it, but you're going to really enjoy this interview as you meet Kate and just look at all of the thought and consideration that she put into this major career shift. So here's Kate. I'm Brian with Colorado Home Building Academy, and Kate is taking our construction skills boot camp, and so she's making a pretty major career shift, and so I wanted to talk with her about that whole process and how the training has been and kind of what brought you to this place in your life. So
do you want me to tell you about first my why I chose to leave?
That'd be great. Thank you.
So I currently am working as an early childhood educator, as a preschool teacher, and I've always loved working with kids, but I've been in the field for about 5 years since I graduated from college, and I just kind of started to lose, not interest, but I had something nagging at me that was telling me, like, no, I'm not that happy going to work every day, and I started to think about what other things that I enjoyed doing in my life and that I really loved, and I moved into several different apartments during my time living in Denver and bought a lot of IKEA furniture, and one of my favorite things to do is like build IKEA furniture on a Saturday.
So you enjoy putting together IKEA furniture?
Yeah, like most people hate it. My friends will call me up and be like, hey, can you come over and put this thing together, this desk or whatever, dresser, which they know I love to do.
Well, that's definitely a sign that you enjoy building things when you enjoy putting together IKEA furniture.
There's just like love reading the directions, figuring out what works, like problem solving my way through it, and anytime there was ever like a leak or something going on in the house that I used to live in, I would always just try and figure it out myself first before calling in like a handyman or anything for help. I really love math, and thought that it just kind of hit me one day, like I should maybe think about doing something that would make me more happy than what I'm doing now, and constructing and problem solving bring me a lot of joy, and so started doing some research and found the Colorado Home Building Academy.
Yeah, nice, cool. Well, hey, that's some great background. That's cool. Can you tell me a little bit, because you had mentioned to me when we first met, and you did just now, that you enjoyed working with kids. It was a very satisfying job, but there was some things missing that caused you to want to rethink what you're currently doing as a career. Let me just rewind a little bit and say, what were some of the things that you enjoyed about what you're doing right now as a teacher?
Well, kids constantly keep me on my toes, and I am an adult living with ADHD, which I have no shame in admitting. And
same here.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So I mean that's why I like working with kids. They're constantly, I wake up every day and I'm like, what is today going to bring? I mean, you never know, and that is an exciting aspect about the job. There's always a lot going on in the classroom, like several things at once, and I'm really good at multitasking, and I kind of like that there's always something to keep my attention, and I love figuring out why kids think or say or do the things they do. On the other hand, I have discovered that a lot of those same things can be applied to a construction or labor job, or even like a skilled trade, like plumbing or electrical, because you have to be on your toes, like in terms of problem solving. You have to, you're team working with other people constantly, which in my job I work with like 3 other teachers, and there's a lot of teamwork that has to happen through nonverbal and verbal communication, and a lot of planning, and a lot of these same things transfer over to construction, which is why I thought it was kind of
that's interesting.
An awesome way to look at it, which I didn't think about that until halfway through the course at the Home Building Academy. I started to realize that all the things I love about teaching can also be applied to construction.
That's cool. So Kay has mentioned our the course that she's going through is our construction skills bootcamp. It's taught by a seasoned carpenter, and we have other teachers that are also skilled in the field that will be involved with teaching that class. And so you get a lot of hands-on training, so you get a really good feel for what being out in the field is like.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that, the problem solving, working with a team, things always being different every day, it's a huge part of what construction is. So it sounds like teaching was similar in that respect, but we have plenty of people who come to our training who they're in an office doing the same thing essentially every single day, and just want the problem solving, doing things differently.
Not the monotony,
Yeah, absolutely.
Not being on their toes,
Right.
Yeah.
The opposite of being on their toes.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's great. I really like that. So it's interesting that there were definitely things you enjoyed about your previous work. It's not like you hated it, but there were some things that prompted you to shift gears. What was that experience like as you were kind of coming to terms with, maybe I'm going in a new direction with my career?
It was kind of scary. You've been doing one thing for so long, and you get to this point where I think you feel like people expect you to keep doing that one thing. And I feel like the first step for me was getting over this idea that I have to do what I'm supposed to do because that's what my degree is in, or that is what people around me are expecting me to do, or, what if I can't successfully change careers and make the same amount of money, or, what are people going to say about me if I'm taking this job that I have a degree in and going to something else. On one hand, people don't think so highly about preschool teachers anyway. They call them, like daycare workers or babysitters, which is highly offensive. Please don't ever, please respect preschool teachers if you don't. You still think about those things, like what is it going to be like? You can't even imagine, you can't visualize it. The most you know about a construction worker is what you see from the side of the road when you're driving around Denver, so it's everywhere. So getting over that part, and realizing that, life is short. This basically the realization was that life is short, and it's too short to be unhappy or be doing something that you're not being fulfilled or feeling fulfilled in with. And so once I got past that, I started getting support from like my family and some of my friends, my partner, like all of them were like, yeah, like go for it, like do it. Talking to them about it gave me the confidence that I needed to say, you know what, I'm gonna investigate this, research it more, like how can I make this shift in, my life. So it wasn't that, it's still, still now, it's crazy to think about the fact that I'm going to be changing careers, but on the other hand, it's become a much more exciting feeling rather than anxiety,
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Both those, having done major career shifts myself, both those feelings of excitement and terror can be closely related to each other as you're going through this, because it's scary.
Yeah.
And you really don't know what the future holds, and you're making really big decisions all at one time. And it could fail too. And I think you're going to do great, but you're thinking that, right?
Yeah.
You're thinking this might not work.
Yep.
And sometimes that keeps people from doing that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's exciting. It's a whole new stage in your life. It's something that you might really love and be fulfilled in.
yeah, like my partner's mom was like, if in life, like, if you come to a door and it's open, if you don't take it, you're never going to know what's behind that door.
Right.
And
right.
you're always going to know, what's going on in the room you're in. But if you don't go through that door and, explore it, you're never going to know. And so I can always go back to being a preschool teacher if I want.
Right.
I can always, change my career to be something else. But I feel like it's truly important as a human being to find the thing that makes you happy and do it, rather than do something just because people around you think that's what you should be doing.
Yeah. You brought up multiple times, I think it's really important, like the expectations of other people. Right now you're known as a teacher, you went to education, you went to school for that, and that can be a real burden that a lot of people bear as well. To just, especially if they're of a certain personality, can think this is what people expect me to be.
Yeah.
And therefore, what if I change that? That could they could be disappointed, or you could throw them off, and that can be a real pressure. Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about what you actually talked about this a little bit already, but walk me through kind of what really made you think, I think construction's the thing. I want to commit to that. You talked about building. You talked about seeing buildings going up and the problem solving and whatnot. Is there anything else you wanted to throw in that?
Yeah. So, like I was telling you before, I don't do my job for the paycheck right now, and I've never really thought to myself like, oh, I'm going to do this job for money. Like, that's never been. I'm not the kind of person. I want to do a job that is going to be fulfilling. It is going to make me happy. However, in education, you cannot climb a ladder, physically, metaphorically, make more money for yourself unless you go back to school and get a master's degree, get a doctorate. Like, there's no more climbing left to do.
Right.
And I want to make money for myself. I want to get out of my debt. I want to feel proud of myself for like getting a raise. I want to prove to myself, challenge myself to learn more so that I can earn what I'm worth. And I can't do that in my current career, and that's a feeling I really want to have. I want to be able to go home and feel good about myself and provide, eventually have a family, and that to me is important. It's not that I want a job that's going to make me $1 million, but I want to be stable, and I want to feel good at the end of the day, both about the work that I'm doing and about what I can bring home. And in construction, you can. There's so many paths you can take, and so many ways to climb a ladder. I mean, really, there's only one right way to climb a ladder, physically, which we've learned in class.
Right.
But there are so many different ways to climb the ladder, and like different roads to go down, and ways you can, challenge yourself. And I just love that there are so many possibilities.
That's good. Yeah, it's definitely the opposite of a dead end type of career in the construction industry. There's so many opportunities. You went to college and you're familiar with being college educated, but it doesn't require that for those who are in that position of wondering whether or not they want to go to college. But it could include that too. But yeah, there's so many opportunities beyond it. That's great. I like that.
Yeah.
It's good. So tell me a little bit about the Construction Skills Bootcamp itself. You have 2 more weeks to go.
Yes.
It's almost done.
I'm so sad. I've been getting really sad about it. I take the Monday and Wednesday night classes from 5:30 to 8:30, and it is like the one thing that I look forward to at the end of my days and weekly. I actually love doing the homework, and I am a super nerd, but even if you don't do your homework on time, you have plenty of time to make up for it. It's not like you can't, even if you show up at class, you have time to work on it on the computers on site, or you can just do it later when you get home. And I just love showing up at class wondering what are we going to do today? What am I going to build? What am I going to learn? And I've really become kind of close with a lot of, I guess you'd call them my team members. I have a few of them have connected with me and offered possible connections for jobs after this class.
That's awesome. That's great.
A lot of them are also brand new to this and know nothing, and we kind of all are in this same boat together, and just this camaraderie that we feel of we're in this together. We're learning these things, and I don't know. And I love our instructors. Like John is fantastic, and he's funny, and he lets you make mistakes, and he. It's I don't know. It's just a great way to learn. Like hands-on learning is my favorite, and I just love the class. I don't want it to end because I love showing up and like putting on my gear and working.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool. Well, one thing you mentioned, we really don't talk about it enough because it's not usually why people come to us, but you mentioned the camaraderie and the relationships that you built there. It's such a huge part of it. I was a part of the boot camp myself as a new employee at the Colorado Home Building Academy, and just getting to know the people that are there. And I wasn't looking for a new career. I just got a new career with the Colorado Home Building Academy. But for those who are, that's a huge part of it too. Just kind of already building out that network, as well as just really getting close to people who have the same vision and goals and dreams as you do.
Yeah.
So that's great. So what would you say is one thing that was kind of most challenging about the training?
It's a lot. You're learning a lot in a short amount of time. I mean, despite it being an 8-week course, it's you're learning a lot. And I think it really did. I mean, how do I put this? So I am like naturally great with math, and that comes easy to me, but not everyone. So like, figuring out like measurements and how to, use fractions appropriately and add and subtract them, that could be kind of, scrambling in your brain, but I don't know what this is the most.
Well, that was the hardest part for me was fractions. I totally forgot how to do fractions.
Oh yeah, no, relearn. I had to relearn. It was like being in 4th grade all over again.
Right, exactly. I said I knew this as a 4th grader way better than I know this as an adult. But no, that's helpful. What would you say are some of what would be like? What is like your favorite parts of it? You mentioned some things already, but
gosh, I just love all of it.
Cool.
I just love, I don't know, building something. I mean, like I think the most proud I was a class that we framed a wall. And I worked with like 4 of my classmates. We all worked in teams and we framed a wall, and then at the very end all 4 teams stood their walls up and put them together. And it was so satisfying. I don't carry my phone with me in class, and I like ran to my locker, grabbed it, just so I could take a picture, so that when I got home I could show my partner, like, look, like this is what we did in class tonight. Like I've never felt so proud to be like, this is what we were doing tonight. And every one of me and my team members ended up taking a picture in front of our wall because one of them was like, we gotta document this. Like this is look what we made together. Like, it was just really exciting for all of us to like have worked together to build something that we could actually like see, and that I don't know, that gave me the reassurance that like this can be a really fulfilling career. Like if I could feel that way at the end of every day, like looking at something I build, that's
it's
like it gave me the chills like thinking about it, but like it's
that
great.
Is so cool. And it gives you the satisfaction. It's like empowering to know you can build something like that, right? And you did it from a blueprint read. You're reading a blueprint, you're translating into a frame, putting together, you got your shed, boom, there it is. It's not done yet, of course, but you say, hey, I can build. It's a cool feeling. So it's very satisfying work. I have heard from many different individuals who either have children already or plan to have children who say, I want to be able to drive down the street and tell my kid, Mom, Dad helped build that building. It's a pretty cool experience.
You to like see the fruits of your labor, like it's cool. It's really tangible, But so that's been pretty great. The other thing I will say is that I love like being able to go to class and know that I can make the mistakes there. And it's not going to be that easy when I'm out, actually in the field. It's a really good place to be able to make mistakes. Because, and ask all the questions you want.
Right.
Because that's the time and the place they're offering you for free to ask those questions. And it's really important to, utilize that and not take it for granted. So
cool. That's good. I think that's perfect. It's a huge part from what I hear from experts in the field, and I'm not an expert in the field, but what I've heard from experts in the field is the way you learn is by making mistakes and going at it a second time. And especially when you're building something and there's pressure, sometimes those mistakes can make you really feel dumb sometimes, actually. I know that was my experience. and you know, and then you realize, oh, this is how. And so doing that in a safe environment where there's not as much pressure to do things correctly, yeah, that's huge. That's good. Just a sideline. Kate was a part of the construction skills boot camp, which is either 8 weeks or 4 weeks, depending on how you take it, 2 nights a week or 4 days a week. And it is free. We waive any kind of cost for it for anyone who wants to get in construction. If that's the reason that you're taking the course, we waive the tuition for it, and you get the training, you get career help, you get career connections, as well as a set of hand tools, tool bag, and safety gear, all at no cost to you. That's sponsored by builders who want to hire our students, so that's how that all works out.
Yeah, that was what I forgot to mention. That part also is that like, it was very scary for me at first when I was originally thinking like I'm going to change careers. I was like, oh my gosh, like how am I going to possibly do that? Like, where do I even begin? Like, how does one even start in construction with zero experience? And like the one thing that has been like super great about Colorado Home Building Academy is that like I am like sleeping so much better at night knowing that like I have made connections to help me find a career, that I have had help like tweaking my resume to, you know, make it applicable to construction rather than teaching. And also they have job fairs like once a month, or I think it's once a month, right?
Yeah.
And so you can meet possible, you know, employers. I mean, like there's a lot of people hiring in the field, but to be able to talk to them face to face and like learn more about different options that you have out there is pretty incredible. So like knowing that those connections to actually getting a career are there was like, that made a huge difference. Just like I could go help a friend work on a couple side projects or something and learn some things here and there, but you know, to learn the technical skills, like the actual vocab, the right way to do things, the safety, and then on top of all of that, to know that like they are going to help me find an actual career. You know, it's amazing to have that many connections. All for free, like at no cost. I mean, plus you get the tools and tool bags. Like, I don't know, it's unreal. And every time I tell my friends about it, or like my family when I explain the program to them, they were like, what? Like, who pays for this? Like, well, where? How are you taking this for free? And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty incredible.
That's cool. I loved everything you said there, and I mean, just in summary, we make career shifting easier. Not necessarily easy, but easier. And you know, I remember when I was in the major career shift, like who you knew that could help you into that new field was everything. I mean, it was so that was just a huge. And I had the opportunity when I was in the middle of career shift of just sitting down with people who were in the field that I wanted to go into and just discussing, you know, how do I do it? What do I need to know? And just making more connections in that way, where it was able to help me do that. And so people underestimate just who you know as you're looking at a new career, and you know the value of that, and you're in the middle of it right now. So that's cool. It's really good. Good. So, what is the next step for you? Is there a specific trade that you're interested in, or is there a specific kind of work, and what kind of timeline might you be looking at?
So that's the question I'm battling right now is now like, what do I want to do post class? And I have made some connections with some of my team members to possibly get, you know, a job through them after class, but I have to wait. I'm going to wait until, you know, I have to wait like 2 more months until my school year ends, then I can be done for the school year. And I'm thinking right now that I might want to do general labor just so that I can get a feel for you know, what it is that interests me most, and I can also like be on a site and do a lot of observation like while I'm working of like how does this whole job site look like, what job are they going to give me today, what am I going to fix today, is this what I really love doing, or like just to see like what I find myself gravitating more towards and like what I want to learn more about, because I did think about starting right out of the gate with an apprenticeship, but it's really hard to decide for me. Some people know, but I'm like, do I want to do plumbing? Do I want to do electrical? I've always loved to build and constructing things. So is it like carpentry? So I think I'm gonna start off just doing general labor overall to see which way it takes me. But the goal is eventually to do an apprenticeship. For a while I was leaning towards plumbing, but we'll see.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Kate, you've been great. Thank you so much for doing this. Just as a follow-up, if you're interested in this kind of thing, you can call me directly at 303-358-4409. You can also get some more information on our webpage at cohomebuildingacademy.org. And we would love to talk with you if this is something that you think works within your career story. So thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Come join the program. You won't regret it. There's nothing to lose, only things to gain.
Well, hey everybody, I really hope you enjoyed that interview. Just to recap, if you're looking to get plugged into our program, or you are an employer that would like to hire our students, please do get in touch with us. You can find me at 303-358-4409 or Brian, B-R-I-A-N, at cohomebuildingacademy.org. We have the boot camp that's available to get your start in the construction field, as well as skills trades training, as well as construction management. I'd love to talk to you about the details of all that. You have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you later. Bye.